Tonight on MyTeam. Time for some nosh in the Netherlands. Max Verstappen is slow. And can we regain ground at the top of the championship? Greetings, you saucy salamanders, and welcome back to the F1 23 MyTeam Career Mode. Episode number 14 today at the Netherlands. The Dutch Grand Prix at Zandvoort. Oh god, sand. By the way, if you're wondering why you're looking at my shredded physique,
you could grind meat on it.
The reason for that is because nothing's happened. I got no upgrades, there's nothing to report in the performance index, so it's a shambles. Actually, speaking of shambles, that's what happened last race, a complete shambles. So perhaps today we'll find some redemption as we head into qualifying. Here we are then. Saturday is upon us, therefore qualifying has descended from the heavens for the Dutch Grand Prix here in Zandvoort. A track Codemasters actually cares about, unlike Belgium. There's the sexy vixen in the flesh. He has a score to settle here in Zandvoort as we head round the bank final corner for our first lap, and Jack Doohan is already playing games with us. What is he doing? My goodness me, our only lap in Q1, and he's already trying to take us out of the equation. So already feeling a bit flustered as we head through the banked corner. We could catch up to the back of the Alfa Romeo of Bottas. This could be a bit of a squeaky bum situation here in qualifying. We're through to Q2. It's not even close, in fact. We're only 6/10 off the top time. Charles Leclerc already on the pace. Looks like Mercedes have found some mojo again. Let's see where our teammate is, and that's Justice. What an absolute prune he is. Although I can't be too harsh because he's 18th and only just behind Kevin Magnussen. A couple more temps and our teammate would have been through to Q2. But that's not today because he's bad. Qualifying 2 then, and immediately we're not wasting any time in ripping our way out of the garage and out of the pit lane and onto the Netherlands track. There's only one car ahead of us, actually, and the reason we've gone out so early is because the rain is set to impact this session pretty early on. So the earlier you can get a time in, the better, while you can make the most of the dry track. Through to turn 1 then, it's still bone dry. The rain hasn't begun yet, but now you can see the spittlings of rain have descended from the skies. God is, well, needs to be using something other than a sieve for his bladder. But we won't let that deter us. We will not let our ego be crushed by God's plans. In fact, God's plan for us is to make sure we get through to Q3. That's what I've ascertained anyway, as through the final 2 corners we go. We'll be one of the very first to set a time, but it's these changeable conditions where the AI can be so quick. So Lance Stroll with a 1 minute 10.2. We beat that with a 1 minute 10.1. And look how far back everyone else is. The Alpine, the Alfa Romeo. We have some cars that haven't even peeled out the pits yet. A Red Bull, a Mercedes, a McLaren. All of them have dropped the ball as Ocon goes into 3rd. Behind him, surely, no, Bottas 3rd. Incredible stuff from the Alfa Romeo driver, but Gasly, the last man to set a time on the dry tyres. Verstappen is out of qualifying, surely. Alonso, both Ferraris. Leclerc can't get close enough. He chose the soft tyres. I'm sure others surely will gamble with Inters. They have indeed, but even when I fast forward, it isn't enough. Max Verstappen is out of qualifying, the championship leader at his home race. Strapped on the soft tyres, it was a bold decision to say the least. But my word, what drama here in Q2. Both Ferraris, so many heavy hitters eliminated on the spot here in Q2. Also, how did some of the AI improve their times despite the track being wet? Oh yeah, I forgot. The AI are cheating nonsense. Anyway, our 1 lap in anger in Q3. We've left it late until the end. It probably won't matter, to be honest. I'll explain in a bit. But through turn 1, use a little bit of the curb on the outside, flick it in at the 50 board, and then keep to the inside of this bank corner. Find the confidence to slam on the power on the exit. And under the Aramco sponsorship, hopefully that's not what we'll be doing during the course of this weekend. Under Mick Schumacher's cruises and through the right-hander, cascading down. It's an absolute roller coaster ride here at Zandvoort with the way the downforce feels. It's so compliant. And as we head through to the end of our lap, It's not been anything groundbreaking as through the final 2 corners we go. That is a very, very cool and collected lap of the Zandvoort circuit. And as we cross the line now, where will it be in provisional qualifying? The answer is P5 in qualifying. It's better than what we did I nearly said Zandvoort. You pillock. Last time out, we sank like a brick, but today we are keeping our head above water successfully, treading it nicely, as the only... Oh, for God's sake. Anyways, let's ignore that. We are Captain, Crush. I don't really know why, but Lewis Hamilton, I have a crush on him. That's a sexy man right there. But he takes pole position, and he really found the jackpot with that time. If you know what I'm saying. Lando Norris, the only other driver to get into the 7s, lines up P2. Perez in P3, couldn't quite cut the mustard in the end. For us, though, P5, whilst others like Alfa Romeo and Alpine have a superb day. But there is a reason why I could only muster up P5, because the plan was always to take a new engine and charge through the field. I had an old engine in, so we're starting from last. That's probably not ideal, but let's go get this win.
We're on the coast of the North Sea at Zandvoort Circuit, 25 miles outside of Amsterdam. We're all set for the Dutch Grand Prix, a race that the greats have won at, including Jim Clark, who took the biggest trophy home here on 4 occasions. Zandvoort Circuit then, 14 corners, 10 to the right and 4... Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Perez, Ocon, Stroll, Gasly, Bottas, Hulkenberg, Verstappen, Russell, Sainz, Fernando Alonso, Oscar Piastri, Leclerc, Magnussen, Doohan, Albon, Joe, Tsunoda, Sargent, De Vries, and Grim Reaper. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. A warm welcome to Natalie Pinkham, who is beside me in the commentary box today. Let's talk about Grim Reaper. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
It's been a really solid year so far. There have been some incredible standout performances. But what's really impressed me has been the consistency. With this kind of form, I'm expecting another good race today.
Spa was a mess from minute 1. Let's rectify that, shall we? 5 red lights! Lights out, and away we go. They were held on for what felt like an eternity, but we get a good start. That's going to get very grisly. 4 wide into turn 1. No thank you, but charging down the inside of a bunch of cars. Immediately up into P15. Lovely jubbly. Now Jack Doohan's next up, and we're going to say good night, Irene. Use the banking, come in with interest, and come out with a banging investment. Up 2 positions on the outside. The momentum was so in our favour. And now we have 2 Ferraris ahead of us. Of course we do. We've usurped Fernando Alonso, who was one of the big heavy hitters, to be absolutely stumped in qualifying. Massive dive on Leclerc out of nowhere. How on earth did he see us coming? But boy, we came in like a freight train, and we provided the Italian job on the Ferrari man. Now his teammates next up for the count. Carlos Sainz down the inside. He's gazumped. Absolutely brilliant start to this race. Into P11. We've halved our grid starting position already. Cutting through the field like cake. And Bottas, well, his cake's mine. However, we don't want to stare at it for too long as Hamilton, look at the gap he has already. Absolutely monstrous first lap from the Mercedes driver. Verstappen and Russell up ahead, meanwhile, battling it out. Of course, the home crowd will want to see Verstappen munching his way through the opposition. Bottas next up, though, trying to find a way past through the bank corner, but nothing doing there for the time being. We just have to sit in the slipstream. I will say as well, I'm running pretty high wings here. I mean, downforce is king, especially through this section, and the car is feeling extremely planted. It's exactly what I need. The confidence to go through with it. Perhaps a chance to dive down the inside every day of the week. We are absolutely sending it past the opposition. Bottas is just the latest remedial to be gobbled up. Replay of the start, though. Let's calm down things to a simmer for now as Lewis Hamilton, we're looking at, lights out, away he goes, and away he goes. Good Lord almighty. Absolutely flies away there. The peregrine falcon at the front versus the pigeons chasing in hot pursuit behind. It's only going to end in one conclusion. Hamilton absolutely sprints away at the start and is no looking back, surely. 5 red lights, this time with Bottas, though. And as you can see, he drops anchor at the start. It's Hulkenberg with an excellent start. Russell also getting past Verstappen on the outside. He's been completely swarmed. Bottas, who had an optimal position, now down in 10th. On board with my teammate, though, as he's up to 14th. A great start from him. Oh, here we come, by the way. Just, you know, just to flex the fact that I'm better than doing. Alonso also with the compromised exit, and we're through into P13. Unlucky for some, but we're just finding constant fortune in this race so far. End of lap number 2, approaching lap 3 as Hamilton setting the timing screen ablaze. And who's this? Max Verstappen right ahead of us as Russell and Hulkenberg are duking it out for 7th position. Surely it ends with Russell at the front, but we're looking for an avenue, potentially past Verstappen on his rear quarter. No, in fact, he's extremely robust, almost brake checks us out of the corner there. Have to check the vehicle condition. I don't actually think, to be quite clear, I don't think he actually brake checked us. So before you keyboard warriors combust, just to be quite clear, I don't think that was Verstappen's fault, because honestly I think my overspeed was just immense. There's nothing that could have been done to stop me from gazumping the Red Bull car, especially his diffuser. I'm munching all the cake today apparently, but ignoring that for a second, surely this time on Verstappen, no, again, stays in the middle, holds his line very well, and again we're just surveying the back of that Red Bull car. Nothing doing so far against the double world champion, and it's a procession again as we head on to the end of lap number 4. Nico Hülkenberg is right in the way. It's a bit harsh, actually. He's doing really well, to be fair. He might be doing well, but we are better. As we are now surveying Max Verstappen, trying to go down the inside. Leclerc with the fastest lap of this race with a bit of helping from DRS. Verstappen still on the inside. Hulkenberg defends that brilliantly. Runs rings around him, and this is our chance. Round the outside of Max Verstappen, getting the exit. He's still there on our left. We have to use a bit of ERS, keep the slipstream of Hulkenberg. He backs out of it, and we're through into P9, ahead of the championship leader. That's exactly what we needed. And now we're going to take Max Verstappen to school. Show him exactly how it's done. Down the inside of Nico Hülkenberg.
Great manoeuvre, you made it look so easy.
Our engineer paying our compliments handsomely there. Fantastic stuff. If the AI even had an ounce of the opportunism that I have displayed in this race, then God knows what they would be like to race against. It'd be unbelievable. But Gasly now is the next man to think about. We're not thinking behind. We're just looking ahead. Verstappen still not past Hulkenberg. This is killing his race minute by minute. And again, down the inside of Pierre Gasly. It's easy as you like. We're loving that overtaking spot. Next up, it's Ocon. And you know what we need to do? We need to shaft him out of Narnia. So, DRS and ERS being deployed. Nothing doing for the time being. We're nowhere near enough, although our confidence on the brakes is almost unmatched. The rotation into the right-hander is second to none. We're feinting to the inside, trying to force Ocon into a mistake, but he doesn't really need it. Our pace is so vastly superior that with DRS and ERS, he's running away. He's running away. If you put Ket in your engine. The stewards turn a blind eye to this sort of thing, though, so there's no point complaining about it for too long. Ahead of us, Russell actually went round the outside of Stroll. So, Ocon our next target. Let's keep up with Russell, and let's go round the outside again. Our favourite overtaking zone, and we've done it again on the Alpine driver. Next target, Lance Stroll in the Aston Martin, and then I'll tell you what, his pace has actually been quite decent. But we have to relieve him of his P5 sooner rather than later, giving him a biff in his diffuser, and that was quite a big one at that. not having front wing damage somehow. Despite that, we're really playing with fire in this race, choosing to switch back at the bank corner to find any kind of momentum, but nothing doing. We have to wait until even later in the lap, and we are close enough, surely. 2.5 tenths the gap, using a bit of battery. We're going to dive it, surely. Yes, we do. Tom Daly would be proud, and Lance Stroll is demoted to P6. We promote ourselves to P5. It's not going to be DRS being gained on George Russell, I doubt it, but crucially, a lap later, we do keep up with him, and even more crucially, we are within DRS range. But it's bad news for one man, for Lando Norris. Unbelievably, after the start he had, look at the gap Hamilton has, by the way. That is absolutely ridiculous. What a gap he's pulled out in his Mercedes car. But Lando Norris has some kind of problem with his car, and that problem is exasperated now by the fact he's fallen into the clutches of myself and George Russell out of nowhere here. And you're going to see exactly the profound effects of this particular eventuality. Through the bank corner, Russell now 3 tenths behind Norris. He's got a serious problem in that McLaren car. It could be a Mercedes power unit thing, and if that's the case, I don't really want to start getting worried, but it's certainly something I need to be aware of. Russell practically pushing Norris through that corner. His diffuser has surely been scraped. Shards of, well, whatever is left of it, to be honest with you, as Norris's squeaky bum hauls its way round the right-hander, and now the left. George Russell and myself with DRS, and a train is going to form very soon. So Russell will easily get past Norris. We're going to have to do the same. We're not waiting around. Down the inside. Opportunistic as ever. And we're through past the ailing McLaren man. Lando Norris has got the sinking feeling while we are rising to the occasion. And with DRS on Russell as well. So we can use this to our advantage here and catch the cars ahead. Yes. Oh, yes. George Russell well within Sergio Perez's slipstream range and DRS range. In fact, he's sniffing his rear end. Stop that right now, George. But soon he will gobble Perez like a hungry turkey, and we shall do the same as we slide our way through the right-hander. Russell will relieve Perez of P2, then we're going to surely relieve him of P3. And then I sense a bit of deja vu. 2 Mercedes up front, ourselves in P3. Can we make it happen? Well, you're about to find out. George Russell slipstream and DRS, and he's absolutely rocketed his way past Sergio Perez before turn 1 even happens. He has well and truly solidified himself in P2. Next, though, it's our turn. Apparently, they're a lap ahead. What? If they're a lap ahead, then I'm actually from Pakistan. As into the pit lane we go, down to a very, very slow 37 miles an hour, and we pit at the end of lap number 13, because we are going for the 2-stop strategy. Onto a new set of medium tyres we go. The 1-stop definitely an option, but I've had the evidence before my very eyes about how good a 2-stop can be. Those fresher tyres versus the hard tyres. Okay, at least they spotted that white line cross. Otherwise, their guide dog would need a new guide dog. Crucially, we've got our head of Logan Sargent. So, that's one less slow boy to worry about. De Vries is in last, that's based. But Yuki, we know that he's in AlphaTauri. We know they can help out the Red Bulls. But look at how fast we're coming through. Down the inside of Yuki Tsunoda. My God, we're cleaning house. Not wasting any opportunity. P19 for us. If you're wondering why I'm celebrating P19, well, wouldn't you in the case of just trying to gazump everyone and make sure that you wouldn't get held up? By the way, just to exasperate the issue of Norris's race even more, he's at the head of this train. He's dropped from P2 to P13. He hasn't made a stop yet. That's how slow he is. We're not going to waste any time on Joe as we go round the outside of the right-hander. That's very impressive. Jack Doohan as well, lackadaisical on the apex, and he does blissfully not put too much resistance. English failed me for a second there, but Oscar Piastri is next up. Norris is now demoted to P14 as we're on the inside of Piastri for a brief moment, but he has a psychological boost. Gets past his teammate. We get past Norris and sail down the inside of Piastri. Lovely move, and crucially, ahead of Russell we go as aliens happen. No, go away. Halloween was a while ago now. You don't need to bring that back. But crucially for us, we have 2 cars between ourselves and George Russell. His tyres are also a couple of laps younger, and he's in that Mercedes car, which is apparently an absolute thunderbolt today in every single part of the track. So the quicker we can displace all of these cars, the better. We set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Valtteri Bottas round the outside straight away, not wasting any time at all. Next up in our crosshairs is Nico Hülkenberg, and we're going to snipe him out of existence not too far from now, surely, as through the second to last corner we go. He's driven a great race in that Haas car so far, but the fairy tale can only last so long, as he pits anyway, actually. Well, there you go then. Well, small victories for the time being. We've still got the We don't have the fastest lap, so there's no barricade between ourselves and George Russell, who's already within 2 seconds of us. So Ocon is the next target that we need to gobble up, and pronto. ERS usage, DRS usage, look how quick we're gaining, look how confident we are on the brakes. He sees us at the last minute, and we're through. Slight contact with the Alpine man. I actually can't defend that. That was actually attempted murder again. Luckily, the FIA don't care about that sort of thing. If I was wearing earrings, that's a different story. But I'm not, so I'm safe. So, unfortunately, actually, because of how harshly we defended Ocon, Russell's easily... Well, actually, Ocon pits, never mind. Ha, Russell, you're shit. Through turn 1 then, and who's that? That's Hamilton! Lewis Hamilton is behind us! That massive gulf he had to the cars behind earlier, he still has it to Perez, but that is how much time he lost by doing the undercut. So now things get very interesting. We have that extra pit stop. We need to just defend now, make them waste as much time as... Oh! Never mind, forget it! Forget it! Are you kidding me, man? Not again! What a joke. You have to be joking me. We block Russell on the apex just to rub salt into the wounds, as if we didn't do enough bad things. We're out of the Dutch Grand Prix. It's our 3rd engine failure of the season. I do not believe it. I cannot believe it. We are sincerely, and I'm not even kidding, statistically, we have had rotten luck. 3 engine failures. No other driver has had that many failures this season. What a farce, honestly.
That's it for another Grand Prix and a fantastic win for Mercedes. And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everyone played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
Wow, nice podium. I'm so happy for them. Shit off. What a joke. I'm not even going to censor that. That's how angry I am. Something fell off my desk as well to compound my anger. George Russell might have won the race, but I can't help but feel robbed of yet another good result this season. It's costing us big time. It's my fault probably for not doing durability upgrades, but also I don't care, because that's not going to make our car faster on a race weekend. Hamilton actually could have won this race, but, well, if it wasn't for this, he has a smokescreen ahead of us, yes, but in his haste to try and find a way round us, he gets it all crossed up on the outside, slows down to a tortoise's pace, crawls back onto the track, and there's so much of a gulf between himself and his teammate at this point. In the end, he couldn't overcome the pace that Russell had. And once again, it's another what could have been for us, and that was on our 2nd set of tyres. We were going to go onto the softs at the end of this race. There's no telling what kind of pace we would have had versus the AI. I can't even begin to imagine. Perez, by the way, was so far off the Mercedes cars, it's unbelievable. But there you go. That's another race down the toilet for us. And Verstappen somehow managed to claim P4. Ferrari in 5 and 6, I do not believe it. Look at the pace of Russell in the end. 1 minute 11s. 1 minute 11s, and that is not even thinking about what kind of pace we would have had. Potentially 1 minute 9s on the soft tyres with the new engine components. Oh, I'd love to know what failed, considering they were brand new. Absolutely shining, fresh diamond cut out of the factory. What a joke. Alonso gets points in the end, so does Gasly, but I'm not happy at all. We're down to 3rd in the championship now. Perez overtakes us. Verstappen, the gap to him now is a whole race win and the fastest lap out of sight. Hamilton in P4 has really caught up the gap with his good run of form. My teammate's still in last, by the way, so despite everything that happened in this race, some things remain consistent. And doing is constantly Oh, for God's sake. Oh, you don't want to see it. Perez is spanking us in the rivalry. Get it off my screen. I don't want to look at the acclaim because we're going to get demoted for something that wasn't my fault. At least we get one of our sponsor goals. But you know what? I don't even care about the money this time. I don't even care. Get out of my face right now. Oh, you dare to come round here and show your face after the torture that I've experienced. Right, well, this had better be good then. You know what? It better be an apology. A formal written one for ruining yet another race in my championship. It's not an apology. Well, I mean, do you know what? I'll suggest it. 1, because I'm the boss of the team. And 2, because all of your frontal lobes are made of spaghetti. Well, what a disaster of a weekend, really. We should have been shooting for the stars, flying high. Instead, it all crashed into a brick wall, and I now want to die. However, our deal with Lupo actually ran out at the end of this race weekend. But their logo is quite sick, and I can't lie, I don't see me using any other sponsor for the time being, even though some of them are quite enticing. So once again, we're going to sign with Lupo for the rest of this season. I'd be pretty confident of that. Oh my god, it was the internal combustion engine. Oh my god, are you actually serious? Why do I bother? What's the point? Honestly, what is the point? Why do I even bother putting new components in if they're gonna last only half a freaking race? Sorry. Anyway, while your eardrums bleed out, we bought an engine upgrade, crucially. We bought an engine power upgrade. We thought about an ERS one as well, but we actually don't have enough points to do so. Quite evidently. So, that will do it, basically. I don't think there's anything else to do. We do get an upgrade, though. That's the one good thing that's happened in this episode. And I even skipped to the next race weekend because I didn't want to look at Zandvoort any more than I needed to. It will be the Italian Grand Prix next, though, the Temple of Speed, and hopefully, touch wood, and my desk is made of wood, so that's a good thing, hopefully, we can come away with a much, much better result. Thank you very much for watching round number 14 of the F1 23 My Team career mode. I almost said last to first championship. That would have been a problem. But if you did enjoy this episode, then please leave it a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Still an absolute metric ton of you haven't subscribed, and I'm cross. But if you subscribe, my crossness will be eliminated. Will Max Verstappen win in Italy? No, actually, I don't think he will. But that's for you to find out. Until the next episode, or whatever the next video may be. Once again, I thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day. And until next time, I'll see you soon.